Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
See, told you I'll be back. It's Monday again. Well, I said it was Monday last time on the SmackDown review, and you know what that means. AEW Rampage review. Haven't done a Rampage review in a while, not for the want of not wanting to, but timings and whatever. And felt as if we needed to do one this week because the continuation of the Continental Classic was on Rampage. So I thought it would be a good one to get in. Obviously, there was also an international championship defense from our good friend, Mr. Orange Cassidy, and that's how Rampage started. Orange Cassidy versus Angelico for the International Championship. And they are a nice little open here. The crowd always love Orange Cassidy, and Angelico is a really good wrestler as well. So it was a really good start. Danhausen gets involved as well. So does Serpentico. Danhausen hits him with the wiener punch. But Cassidy got a victory roll and an orange punch on Angelico for a 1-2-3. Perfectly acceptable match here. Cassidy also showing already the wear and tear of his title defenses, which was an absolute stalwart of what he happened last time, when he always used to find a way of winning the show, or winning the matches. So really good start. Really enjoyed this one with Orange Cassidy. Second one here is Abadon versus Trish Adora. Abadon's getting a really interesting run at the moment with Julia Hart. We're going to be talking about more so on Collision and Dynamite about this, and it's a really interesting one. Abadon's had a really good run recently. She's been there for ages, not really seemed to get the maybe attention that she deserves, but right now she is. She absolutely demolished Trish Adora here. The Black Dahlia, I think, is her finisher. It's a really good basement DDT with the leg draped over the head. Really finishes it. And interestingly enough, I mentioned Julia Hart. The lights went out. The lights come back on. Julia Hart was there. She gives Abadon her TBS championship before the lights go out, and she disappears. I'm really interested with this because, again, the character-wise, they're different, but they're similar in a mysterious sort of, supernatural way. Abadon's got that makeup on it. It makes it look like a zombie. This feud's got interesting, and it looks as though Abadon's really worked hard, not just on her weight. She's been very much documenting that on social media, how she's, lost a lot of weight, getting her back into some really good shape, and she can go in the ring. So her and Julia Hart could be an interesting feud, but could they also look to perhaps put her in the House of Black going forward? Be interesting, but it should be a good feud, this one. Looking forward to seeing where that goes. The Don Callis family next was Takeshita and Will Hobbs against Daniels and Sydal. This really wasn't really the most competitive of matches, which probably not surprised by that. The world's most dangerous slam by Hobbs to Daniels finishes this, and the Don Callis family picks up the win. It's been a while since we've seen the Don Callis family, actually. They had that really good stuff with Kenny, and it seems to have died of death recently, although we know next week on Dynamite the Golden Jets will be appearing. But I know they're number one contender, so I don't know if that's going to portray anything to Don Callis family. But victory for the Don Callis family, nevertheless. Takeshita looks a star. Hobbs is still kind of in the sort of, I don't know, say in the mix, but he's more like floats in and out. And this whole booking the big guy issue still with AEW. Not sure if they still know how to book people like Will Hobbs and Wardlow, but we'll find out. Don Callis family say pick up the victory on that, and we'll see what happens. Now, this was it. Now we're talking Continental Classic, Danielson, Garcia. Where do I start? This was absolutely brilliant. These two, they're so similar, but they are magic when they're together. Awesome, hard-hitting main event that does prove that Garcia is a wrestler, not a sports entertainer. They were doing that throughout the show as well, throughout this match as well. There was a point where Garcia was about to hit a move, and he'd done a silly little dance, and then the Busaido knee from Danielson picks up the victory on that. But it was then locked him in the label lock as well. And Garcia went out and Danielson picks up the win. But it was so good. I mean, this had counter after counter. It was a masterpiece, which shows that we need to see that wrestler of Daniel Garcia even more in 2024. He needs to come away from whatever he's doing and just focus on that. We know that he could have joined the Blackpool Combat Club earlier on, but he chose to be the sports entertainer and join Chris Jericho's group. But what they need to do is focus on what he does best, which is wrestle. But Danielson picks up the 3 points on the Continental Classic and rolls on to Collision and Dynamite, which we'll get into a bit later with our good friend Dave Robinson joins me later on to talk all the rest of AEW. We'll be back with those. Eric Bischoff joins us this week. Hit us on the socials on HTT Buckle, hitting the Turnbuckle podcast and all other social media outlets. And until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe.